So, what's a sacred space? What came to mind for you?
My music room.
Music room. Gary?
Unfortunately, it's the same room.
Same room.
I get kicked out of it.
You get kicked out of it, yeah, yeah. When you're in hopes in the music space, everything else becomes a sacred space. Yeah, right, right. There you go. Kathleen, what did you have?
The outdoors.
The outdoors. Beautiful. Good. Carlos, did you have a sacred space?
Chapel.
The chapel. Barbara?
The Symphony Hall.
The Symphony Hall. And we had our mini Symphony Hall today, didn't we? Good. Dr. Funderburg, what'd you have?
Marcia.
I know. I just want to make sure you knew who you were. The beach. Jeff?
I'm with Kathleen outside.
Outside. Sid?
My rocking chair looking out on the river.
Beautiful, beautiful. David?
Cottage in Michigan.
Cottage in Michigan. Sharon?
My bedroom.
Your?
All the lovely places that I remember.
Yes, good. Tom, did I get you yet? No.
Our porch.
Porch, yeah. So we're not going to go to the whole room, but everybody has that space. And the reason why it's sacred is not the space, it's meaning to us. And so when we look at our idea of a sacred space, this home, our church here, is a shared sacred space for us. It's not to say, as we heard everywhere, that it's the exclusive sacred space. We all have our own sacred spaces. And I would say, as Unitarian Universalists, perhaps what sets us apart is we don't believe in a sacred and a secular. We believe that everything under the universe is a sacred space. But here at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Jacksonville, and also in our East Nassau meeting space, and for those that listen in on Zoom, we specifically create an intentionally shared sacred space based on our principles, our covenant, and our values. By sacred, I mean welcoming, safe, functional, accessible, and beautiful. A space that allows us to connect with each other, carry out our meaningful mission and programs, and serve as a welcoming space for the greater community. These improvements are directly related to our core principles. First and foremost is our principle of the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Having an updated social hall with new accessible restrooms, an elevator for easier access from the sanctuary, these all speak to our inherent worth and our dignity. Our third principle, the acceptance of one another and the encouragement to spiritual growth. Now, I've heard it say before, and I don't take this personally, but some people say this: the time in the social hall is better than the time upstairs. Except for my sermon. No. But at any rate, let's, even if we said they were equal, and I don't care if you're here or you're heading out to lunch in Fernandina Beach, where do we get to go and connect with one another? We had a dinner at my house last night, and a lot of people said, when they come to the Unitarian Universalist Church, we're normally leaving something. You know, we're like the Alcohol Anonymous group for former Catholics, former Jews, former Methodists. There was a lot of Methodists last night, former Presbyterians, and unchurched. But a lot of people are leaving something. But you become Unitarian Universalists, and that's the difference. And that's one thing that former Reverend John Young said. He said, people come to us for a reason. They're leaving something. They need something. But they stay because they found something in our principles and our sources of wisdom in our community. And they don't have to leave everything they behind, but they become Unitarian Universalists through the values and the principles that we hold. And that's the difference. That's the stepping stone that we make as members. And so either way, how we make our connections, in service, in social hall, outside in other gatherings. As someone said last evening, in this world of divisiveness, this is one place where you can have a difference of opinion, and it's totally fine because you're safe, because we have common core of principles. And that is a difference. And when we say you are truly welcome here, we don't say you're welcome here, but here's the 7-paragraph creed that you have to believe in and follow. Or if you're gay, we are love the sinner, but not the sin. I don't know. It's ridiculous, right? And what some person said to me last night, because I always like that we're an independent, thinking church, go figure. But they said clear thinking. And that really rang a bell to me, that we try to be clear thinking people. And this is what brings us to being accepting and encouraging to one another. It is different. Our 5th principle, the right of consciousness and the use of the democratic process, has been with us every step of the way in this journey, including open discussions and workshops with various viewpoints and listening to one another so we could develop the best plan possible. For example, coming out of COVID, we reconfigured the plan to be more affordable and focus primarily on the social hall in the adjoining areas so as to create a budget more within our reach. This is the type of work you have to do within a democratic process. Finally, our principle of the goal of world community, having a space that is not just to be used by us, but by others that promote peace, liberty, and justice for all. It's a service that we offer to ourselves and the community and literally to the world. And let us not forget the respect for the interdependent web of all existence, of which we are a part. People mention sacred space as the outdoors. For example, we achieved energy efficiency with our doors and windows. We planned for the future, including the possibility, perhaps, of water rise in the future, with the ability to put up water barriers when needed to protect our sacred space. And finally, as we say in our covenant affirmation, at the end of each service, we connect with the divine. However you define that divine to be, whether it's the bigger picture God, the universe, nature, an intentional sacred space connects us with the transcendent, the bigger picture that life is more than just about us as individuals. Did you see recently the dedication the Pope was at the great cathedral in Barcelona, Spain? Did you see that Sagrada Familia? It now has the tallest church in the world. Truly amazing. But it's got nothing on us. Right? Not with our beautiful natural world that surrounds our building. Not with the beautiful view from the sanctuary. Not with our musicians that give their gift of music every week. The artists that will be able to display their work throughout the year. And more important, us. So I would say our location is truly unique among the churches in Jacksonville, and I dare say Barcelona. So the social hall and our new renovated, revitalized campus will allow us to better connect with each other and our community, and for us to be that beacon of light as an open, democratic, progressive, inclusive church. With the challenges of these past years, we've all had the time to reflect on the question, what would happen if UUCJ was not here anymore? Where else would there be a free and responsible search for truth and meaning, a true acceptance of all people, a real embracing of the interconnected web of life, and a transcendent understanding of world community? Our social outreach, activism, and liberal faith needs to be here in Jacksonville, and our facilities are going to be able to support our existence and provide a space for those in the community who need access to our facilities to enhance our shared ministry with them. It's a beautiful day. It's a wonderful day. And it's a powerful day. So I've asked 3 people, I think 3, maybe 4, First, my campaign co-chair and project co-chair, Kathleen Mackenzie, and I think David will be coming up with her.
Good morning. Let's start the story at the start. This unique and beautiful church was designed by Robert C. Broward, a prominent Jacksonville, Florida architect, and completed in 1966. Bob Broward interned with Frank Lloyd Wright at Taliesin West in Arizona. When he was selected by Reverend Frank McGee and the board to design our church at this handsome wooded location, Bob camped out for 3 weeks to get a feeling of the site and how it was oriented to ancient oaks, to Strawberry Creek, and to the sun. Unfortunately, Bob suffered a tragic automobile accident, but he spent much of his recovery time in the hospital working on his concept for this church. He had reported that among all his architectural works, this church was his favorite. And UUCJ has been placed on the National Register of Historic Places. We celebrated the 50th anniversary in 2016. At that time, a group of about 20 people met regularly in the Fletcher Room to discuss our church's future and what improvements and changes needed to be made to the campus. After many meetings and discussions, we hired Kathy Duncan, a local architect who had worked with Bob Broward, to provide us with a schematic plan for the entire campus. If you were among those who met in the Fletcher Room to talk about this, would you raise your hands? We could hardly believe where we were going. In the beginning, there was the capital campaign. When I was hesitant to take on this endeavor, my dear friend Afesha Adams, whom many of you may remember, told me, "You need to do this." Afesha could be a very persuasive woman. If you have heard the saying, "There's many a slip twixt the cup and the lip," you will begin to understand how the project took us 10 years to accomplish. But let me continue. The minister and I began meetings with the board president and with Peter Racine and Gary Rhodes. We began raising funds. But suddenly in December 2018, the minister left the church. Our congregation was in disarray, and the capital campaign went into timeout. First, we had two part-time ministers sent to us to calm the congregational waters. Unfortunately, they also placed a mandatory calm on the capital campaign. Then we had our third interim minister, Reverend Paul Johnson, on Zoom, who encouraged the capital campaign to restart. By 2019, we had found a new minister. Unfortunately for our congregation and the world, COVID-19 struck in March of 2020. And we quit meeting in person. We met on Zoom for church service and other meetings, and the capital campaign was again on hiatus. In January 2021, Peter Racine, not yet our minister, declared to me it was time to restart the capital campaign, and he would be my co-chair. In consultation with congregation and with the design and with the design assistance of David Lafitte, the plan for our campus was revised to a more modest endeavor: the renovation of the social hall and the addition of an annex with a commercial elevator and accessible restrooms. Peter and I renewed our push to raise funds in a serious manner. We hired Zinn Architecture to put together the documents to get a building permit, and we hired Cesare Construction in March 2023 to be our contractor. But still 2 more obstacles entered our sight. First, it took a year to get a building permit. We got it in July 2024, and second, when we started excavating for the annex, we discovered an underground river flowing where we intended to build. The solution to that took almost another year. Finally, construction of the annex and elevator shaft and renovation of the social hall had begun. Here I'm going to give David Lafitte a brief moment to talk about this.
Thank you, Kathleen. Nice to see everyone here. As most of you know, I'm a mostly retired architect and lighting designer. When architects start a remodeling project, we begin with asking the client a fundamental question or two. What works? What's wrong? What doesn't work? What needs to change? Most importantly, what is your vision? For UUCJ, the social hall was our clear focus. Our vision was straightforward. Let's restore the social hall to be the vibrant focal point for our community and the city at large. What works? Location. What doesn't work? What problems need solving? Accessibility was problem number 1. Many people found the stairs from the chapel to the social hall to be a major challenge or even a total barrier. Adding an elevator became a mandatory part of our design. In addition to, and the old restrooms, remember those? They were cramped, they did not meet ADA requirements. So beyond accessibility, we identified several other crucial needs. Expanded storage space for tables and chairs, a dedicated laundry room for the washer and dryer, a usable outdoor patio for gatherings and events. Last and certainly not least, a completely updated kitchen with brand new everything. So Breen Wildman and Caroline Riedel of RSH worked with us to help transform the social hall and the annex by selecting finishes and colors. I think what you'll see today is a space completely transformed. It's a welcoming space for every one of us, as well as to the wider community. I think you'll be very pleased. Thanks.
Many people stopped David and me to thank us for our work on this project. But many, many people made this dream a reality. And we have many, many people to thank for their contributions of time, talent, and financial support. So I'm going to mention these groups of people. To all the board members over 10 years who supported this project and gave valuable feedback, we thank you. To the kitchen cabinet who met in 2023 to describe the kitchen they wanted to have. The kitchen cabinet was Betsy Durling, Susan Fry, Donna Janeski, Darlene Larson, Janine Larson, Barbara Robinson. Raise your hands. Thank you. The interior design group who met with Bree Wildman and Caroline Rydell at the offices of RS&H, Architects and Engineers, including Lynn Shad, Susan Ober, Meg Rohal, Janella Para, and Lois Heft. They looked at a huge variety of floor coverings and selected the ones we have downstairs. Thank you. Raise your hands. The interior design group, The architects, we hired Rob Zinn. Rob, are you here? We invited him, okay. The official project architect who created all the construction documents and managed the engineers. He also gave us generously gave us pro bono work on solving some of our extraordinary problems. Then we were lucky to have in our congregation 2 more talented architects who gave many hours of pro bono service to this project. Kim Larson, please stand. Kim, are you here? Oh dear, I'm so sorry he's not here. Kim Larson, who performed construction administration tasks, including regularly providing field reports with photos during a long period of his serious medical issues. And of course, David Lafitte. Thank you to the architects. The professional and gifted interior designers, Bree Wildman and Caroline Rydell. Are you here? Oh dear, I invited all of these people, but who gave us an enormous amount of time and expertise in creating a coordinated palette and design that was in harmony and sensitivity with Bob Broward's concept. Thank you to Bree and Caroline. I want to recognize the project team. I think that we are all here, who met regularly and irregularly. I want to thank Meg Rohal, president of the board, who went above and beyond her official duties for us. Tom Larson, the treasured treasurer of the project, who kept us honest, and Mary Janicki, portfolio manager, Kim Larson, David Lafitte, and Peter Racine, our minister and my co-chair of the Capital Campaign. I was the de facto co-chair of the Capital Campaign and co-chair of the project. That's not technically permitted, but it's back to that, do you want to talk to the boss, or do you want to talk to the woman who keeps things going? Finally, I want to thank William Cesare Contractor, who is actually on his honeymoon. And I want to say a very special and sincere thank you to Tom Burnett, project manager, who worked overtime to keep us ready for this dedication today and provided us with a working restroom. Please stand up, Tom, and receive our thank you. Then there's the Barton Room Coffee Crew. Sue Fry, Louise Para, Rick Dykes, and Martha Aiken. Are you all here? Stand up if you're here. You kept our coffee social going for all the years we were without a kitchen. Thank you. And I want to make a special mention of Sweta Giarmal, who made so many sweet Afghan gifts for our pleasure. I don't want to overlook another part of this major effort, generally known as the usual suspects. Vince Ober, Jeff Funderburk, Rick Dykes, and of course the suspect who has been suspect for many, many years, Carlos Fraticelli. And a new suspect, Robert Vogt. would you like to stand up and or raise your hands? And Lad Hawkins, landscape architect who advises us and comes to work when nobody's around on our campus landscaping. Lad Hawkins. They have kept the church pulled together and usually functioning with their labors of love. I know there are many more people, including women, who have spent time in cleanup, fix-up, paint-up, and gardening. Thank you to all of you. It does take a village. Finally, we want to recognize and thank all who have made financial contributions to this glorious project. More than 100 individuals, members and friends of UUCJ have contributed to the capital campaign since 2016, raising a bit more than $1.25 million to accomplish this major enhancement of our church home. Please give yourselves a hand, a big hand.
It's amazing what everybody contributed, and when we talk about time, treasure, and talent, because those of us, some of us had more treasure, some of us had more time, some of us had more, I had no talent, but we had all of those three things that worked together. So I want to recognize these major donors, and not because they want recognition, believe me. They've all told me they don't. I have a little bit of an advantage of being the minister. But out of these people, the reason why we recognize them is because they influenced Kathleen and I to keep going. They gave us the support, and they gave us the momentum. So I want to start out with Lynn Shad. Lynn, give us a wave. I know you're here somewhere. Thank you. So Lynn Shad's grandfather, Mark McCall, was one of the founders of this church. Also, as a Unitarian at the time, before the churches merged, Mark had an influence on Lynn's life that has been and will be with her forever. So, in honor of her grandfather, she has contributed $250,000 to the social hall. Thank you, Lynn. Including a $125,000 challenge matching grant that she did along with David and Kathleen to raise the final $300,000 of our goal. The social hall is going to be named in honor of her and her grandfather for the work that they have done. I also want to mention her son, Art Shad, who kind of grew up here a little bit. And Art, I don't think Art's with us today, but Art, on his own initiative, joined his mom with a $100,000 gift to the church. So we thank Art for that. Thank you. Mary Carter Peterson also donated more than $125,000, and she continues to support our children's programs, the playground area specifically. You saw the fencing, you see the mulching, and she's doing that because she knows that that is the future of our church. So even though Mary's maybe on Zoom, we thank her. David and Mary Lou Boyer. Mary Lou is no longer with us, but she helped to leave a legacy for this. And also Phyllis Fleming, who, as you know, with the Fleming Walkway, our nature walk, also, before she died, left a legacy to help with this campaign, knew the future of our church. Dolores Barr Weaver, through her legacy fund, and through her appreciation of our liberal, open-minded, and free-thinking church, and specifically her wish to support our new elevator due to her caring for differently abled adults and seniors who need this elevator for accessibility. To David and Melody Schachter, could you raise your hand? Thank you. Our WJCT gurus, they matched Mrs. Weaver's donation for our elevator. And even though the elevator is not ready, it will be. It is because of the Schachters and the Weavers that we have that, which was the most expensive piece of equipment of this project. Tom and Janine Larson. Tom's here. She's here. She's out. Okay, yeah. Raise your hand for everybody. Give her a shout of applause there. Thank you. They fully committed all three, time, treasure, and talent. And that was a model for me. Day in and day out, trying to figure out the books was not easy, and certainly our bookkeeper and administrator helped them. Carlos Fraticelli and Barbara Robinson, give us a shout. What can I say? Just like Kathleen said, do you want to speak to the boss or the person that's going to get something done? Well, they both get something done, and they continue to set the example of giving in every way to our church. And by gosh, we're going to have new doors on those classrooms because of them. And I would be remiss to leave off Sharon Scholl, who contributed in a little different way to the short. Sharon, raise your hand there. Okay. During this time, she gave a dedicated fund at the foundation to use whenever we have items beyond our budget. She made a bequest to the church, and she's helping to underwrite the upcoming work on our memorial garden. And, of course, just celebrated her birthday, so we've got a lot of stuff going. But she was doing this all this time. So thank you, each and every one of you, because your motivation, there are certainly times where we felt frustrated as a group. And having a working bathroom downstairs makes me very happy. but everything we needed to do to get to this point, more than 100 people helped us to get there, and we appreciate your support.
So I have one postscript. This is personal. I would like to thank, most of all, my co-conspirators in the management of this project. Peter Racine, my friend and co-chair of the Capital Campaign, who kept me from jumping off the cliff occasionally when things got tough, and my life partner, David Lafitte, who contributed so many hours working on this project. And when I was just about to call it quits, he said to me, "I'm not quitting." How could I quit?
Well, Kathleen did such a wonderful job of thanking everyone, but there are a couple of people I would like to thank. As board president, I would like all of those who took on the board presidency during these last 10 years to, will recognize them by name. Jeff Hunderberg, and if you're here, could you stand so we can see who you are? Jeff Hunderberg, Lois Haft, Samantha Ledyard, Mark Dickens, Tom Larson, Penny Reed, Vince Ober, and Terry Mitchell. All of you, and I know as board president, it is a tough job. But today, there are good days and bad, and today is a good day. And finally, I also want to thank a couple of people, in particular, Peter Racine. He did, as Kathleen said, bring a calm and steady presence when it was needed most. Kathleen wasn't the only one that wanted to jump off a cliff. There were many of us at different times. And as co-chair of the campaign fundraising committee and alongside Kathleen, he helped make it possible to pay for this beautiful space without using our general operating funds or our reserves. Tom Larson, well, we can't ask for a better person to be a steward of our money. And he watches our general operating fund, and this budget as well. I hope soon he can retire one of his spreadsheets because he has tons of them. But he really looks at every penny we're spending. You would be amazed at all the work he has done over these last few years on David Lafitte has chaired the construction project through all its ups and downs. His commitment to preserving the beauty of our architecture has helped ensure that this addition enhances our campus in providing the important accessibility upgrades we needed. But there are no words for our last person. That's Kathleen Mackenzie. She deserves more thanks than my words can express. She, although wanted to quit, I hear, she never did. She never gave up. In addition to co-chairing the fundraising committee, she guided countless details, working with architects, interior designers, subcontractors, and making sure that this was the beautiful place it is, and you will see. She and David devoted hundreds, if not thousands, of hours so that we could be here today. Please.
Thank you. David, Tom, come up. Tom. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. And these flowers came fresh from Brian and Kristen Lipinski's farm, and they are for David and Kathleen. So thank you very much. Give them a round of applause. So I know we really want to get down to lunch. Tom, did you have a few words you wanted to say? I want to make sure he actually kept us again.
Yes, thanks to the team for all the work they did and all our discussions. We weren't always in immediate agreement, but we got there after a while. Thanks also to Tom Burnett and the others at Cesare for the good work, and thanks to all of you for your patience in the process. You heard some of the procedure problems that we had with the city of Jacksonville and some other things, but we got through it. And who'd have thunk that we'd have a river over here under the elevator? Our first thought was, how can water come up from the pond? Well, it didn't, but we solved that one. So thanks to all of you for all your help. And I think we've got some strong procedures in place. And as Meg said, I like to retire a spreadsheet. Thanks to Virginia, who helped with some bookkeeping. I think we can do this in a computer application rather than a spreadsheet, which will make it easier and faster.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks to all of you again for your donations and your patience.
Stay up here, please, Tom. You'll stay up here? Yeah. So, thank you all. Our work's not finished. Over the summer, you will see improvements and finishing up every week, and hopefully the elevator, I think in 3 years. No, the elevator by the end of the summer, hopefully, will be done. And you'll see our memorial garden space being renovated, new signage out front, new painted lines in the upper parking lot, along with doors. Our children's playground is making progress. So what we're doing today is setting our foundation for our children and their children to come.